Good morning, everyone. Welcome to FYI. For your information, I am Director of Finance alongside Amanza Walton Desir here
Good
this
morning,
morning.
good morning, good morning.
Guys, it's Thursday, 21st of July 2022, and today
Already.
we're balancing a whole lot on our plate right about now, guys. Today we have a sitting of the National Assembly. You know what is going on that front. We started speaking about it since yesterday. It continues. We will continue to speak about it this morning. All the developments that have happened within the last 12 hours or so.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
at the ninth
At the
hour,
ninth hour.
notifications coming in of motions being pulled from the order
Order
paper.
paper. Mhm.
And this is what we face all the time. It's absolutely crazy.
Important motion.
Hmm.
To bring relief to the people of Guyana.
Mhm.
This situation is becoming increasingly untenable.
Mhm.
Increasingly untenable, and we have Parliament in exactly what, maybe an hour. And
Mhm.
so we're going to have an abbreviated program here this morning,
Mhm.
because we have to get up to the convention center for 10 o'clock. But we have so much to go through, so much to talk about.
Correct.
We see Beatrice and Debbie and Mr. John Jones, Dion Britton and Ingrid Crawford, all of our the usual suspects.
The usual suspects, as you put it over so nicely.
Our friends and family are part of the FYI team. Just thank you for being here with us every morning, morning in, morning out.
Yeah.
Rain or shine, you're here, and we deeply, deeply appreciate you. So, Joretta, what's going on in the local scene this morning?
Well, for the folks, I didn't get an opportunity to listen to the briefing that we gave in the ring last night. I just want to go through it really, really quickly for you. What is transpiring right now? What the MPs are facing at the moment, and one of the motions that was submitted since in January by Annette Ferguson, our colleague, Honorable Annette Ferguson, Member of Parliament representing the coalition there in the National Assembly. She submitted a motion since January to look at the cost of living in Guyana, urging that the government devise a strategy to deal with the cost of living struggles right about now. We've been talking about cost of living. Yesterday morning we went through the prices and the difference in prices in basic food items throughout the country, the exorbitant increases. There was no item that was brought up yesterday that did not at least double in the price.
Yes.
It's absolutely crazy.
Yep.
And at the very ninth hour yesterday afternoon, what we received was an email saying that specific motion, although when first submitted, it was requested that it be tailored and so forth by the Speaker of the House, through the clerk, of course. But those requests was adhered to. It was amended as requested. It was on the order paper to be debated today. The lineup of speakers set and ready to go to debate and to highlight the plight of the people of this country, to make sure that they call on the government to do the right thing, devise strategies that's going to benefit the ordinary Guyanese, grassroots people, the public servers, the minimum wage earners, those people. And lo and behold, at the very ninth hour, an email came through saying that motion would no longer be on the order paper.
Right.
What are you taking on the? What's your take?
That clearly the speaker has been instructed not to allow this motion to go forward, because he allowed it to be on the order paper because it met all of the requirements that were set out. And so clearly he was instructed. I think the government does not want a debate in the National Assembly on this matter. They do not want us to highlight the plight of Guyanese. I think what they're hoping to do, and this is where we talk about the brinkmanship in our politics. I don't care if it is the opposition that brings a motion or the government that brings a motion. Our people are suffering, and as parliamentarians, we have to sit down and work out relief for them.
Correct. And on that point, it's very important for persons to know. If you've been following the debates in the National Assembly, bills that have been brought from the government side and so forth, myself and Amanza, we have been in support of some of those. And once we see it is in line with the needs of the Guyanese people, and it is actually going to be beneficial to Guyanese, we support those things.
And that is important that people understand that we do not just go to parliament to oppose.
Correct.
Where there is need to support, we support. And we have
Correct.
demonstrated that. But this government is so petty. They are so petty that they cannot abide the thought of the opposition asking for relief for the people. I cannot understand how a government can have a sitting of the National Assembly after almost a however long hiatus of a few months, and their first order of business is not to bring relief to the people. You have the president talking about flights to Canada. Who can afford? Which ordinary Guyanese right now is thinking about flying to Canada or the USA when they cannot even put food on their family's table? This government has it backward. And then Gail Teixeira, in a most juvenile display of political strategy, comes out to say that, oh, they've received information that we intend to disrupt the sitting and a whole bundle of balderdash before she comes out to talk about what they're going to do to improve the lives of Guyanese.
But what I want to say is particular with that matter, and guys, if you haven't noticed, we're just going to tell you, I'm sorry that I don't have it pulled up right about now in the system so that you can hear for yourself. For those of you who have not yet heard it, Gail Teixeira, in her portfolio as Minister of Parliamentary Affairs, sent out a bit of recording yesterday to media houses saying that she's in receipt of information that the coalition is coming to disrupt Parliament because they don't want the decision of the recommendation from the Privileged Committee for the 8 MPs to be suspended, to be carried through. A notice to Gail Teixeira and the Guyanese people. The biggest issue right now is the fact that the PPP administration has made it their duty to make sure that a motion to debate the cost of living and to urge the government to put measures in place to ease the burden on Guyanese have been withdrawn from the order paper. That is the biggest issue that we are facing today.
Exactly. And you notice,
and nobody could deflect from that.
And you notice in her usual Goebbelsian way, in the usual Goebbelsian way, they repeat certain things. Oh, she spoke about the 5 months of the elections, and oh, they disrupt the parliament. I want to say this. When you read certain conventions, they warn, follow the rule of law or else people are going to rebel. The law recognizes that people have a breaking point. My God. But you know what, Jaretta? You know what? What is more important? Most important is the attitude of our Guyanese people. And I am concerned that we are sometimes contributing to our own downfall. There was some footage from Kadaki, Amsterdam. That thing disturbed me so deeply. It unsettled me because, you know, very often you hear people say we prefer to suffer under we own and so on, but to actually see that
manifest in front of your eyes,
that, oh my God, this is where, and look, the evidence is right in front of you. And then there are another set of people who come out to say, oh, both sides are the same. Those are the people that cannot give the PPP wrong. And so they take solace in the fact of saying that all of you are the same. And that is the posture of the citizenry that we have to guard against. Whether you agree or not, politics and politicians and the political landscape is what determines your quality of life as a Guyanese. And you have to be involved and you have to have an interest. And you have to be brave enough that if the APNU is doing nonsense, you can say APNU, y'all doing nonsense. If the PPP is doing nonsense, you can say PPP, y'all are doing nonsense. This level of complicity with oppression has got to stop. And we have got to call it out, because what will happen is as politicians, we will be in parliament fighting all day, and then you come to the people and they are prepared and willing to accept whatever. How can you be willing to accept whatever? We have to, as a population, mature in the way we approach politics and in the way we hold our politicians accountable. Saying all of them are the same thing is not good enough.
Correct.
You must be able to look at an issue, parse the facts out, sit down and say, look, well, they say, nah, I don't agree with you, PPP. You're wrong here. That is the kind of
you're adding to the problem if you're actually not if you're making comments like that.
Absolutely.
And if your action is like that, to say that all of them are the same. If your action is that, at the end of the day I still got to work hard. Once you have not yet understood the role of politics and governance in your everyday life, I mean, we have a long way to go in educating the population.
This is why voter education is important.
We have absolutely, listen, I've heard this so many times, persons on the streets and so say that, we at the end of the day, we still got to work hard. At the end of the day, I still have to work hard.
Yeah, but let's talk about that.
Let us talk about it, please.
Because we were working hard under the AP and UAFC, indeed. Yes. But we could have afforded gas. We could have afforded bread. We didn't have to line up for sugar.
Listen to me. The administration have a direct hand in the amount of money you work hard for.
Precisely. Right? Precisely.
So there is a direct relationship, correlation.
The good book says, by the sweat of your brow you will eat.
Yes.
And so there is no shame in working hard. There is honor, dignity in working hard. But at the end of the day, the role of the government is to make sure that when you work hard, you have an enabling environment that says, I can see my way. Correct. I can feed my children.
Yeah.
It's not that you're working hard whole day.
Correct.
And you can't feed your children at the end of the day. Nonsense.
And even if you work, and this speaks to people who work to the public sector, public servants, those persons, you work hard. Yes, at the end of the day, your salary, your wages, your increases, all of those things are determined by the administration.
Absolutely.
For the private sector employees, persons that go out and work there, for people. Only recently we were talking about the fact that the minimum wage for the private sector now is $60,000. That was determined by the administration. For people that are going out there, businessmen, entrepreneurs, and so forth, we consistently speak about them not having a level playing field. The Sugate issue device news issue spoke directly to your ability to earn and your ability of access to the resources, whether or not you can get in the door. All of these things are political in nature, and persons need to understand it off the bat. But man, so you do everything that has been happening so far, what's going on in Suriname right about now, what is going on in Sri Lanka right now, and I have to bring it up again. We're looking at what is going on in Panama. 3 weeks of protests in Panama caused food, fuel shortages. Right now, persons are taking to the street. 3 weeks of continuous demonstrations and road blockage to protest high fuel and food costs in Panama have begun to cause shortage in some food products, fuel, and medicine. People are standing up.
Yes.
People are standing up.
Absolutely. And, it's amazing that these people are protesting and they're saying that the protest is causing the fuel and food shortage. In Guyana, we're not protesting and there's still food, fuel, and everything shortage. What is going on? What is going on? And you have people, we're going to support we own, we're going to punish under we own. Such balderdash.
But the people are protesting because of the high prices. But now they're saying that the protest, the magnitude of the protest, 3 weeks of protest, consistent protest, is actually affecting so much. And we're taking this directly off of ABC News.
Absolutely.
A lot of people are going out there and they are demanding more of the governing administration.
Because power concedes nothing without a demand. Power concedes nothing without a demand. We do not seem to understand that as citizens, we are entitled to be treated like human beings, not like doormats for politicians. And I say that cognizant of the fact that I belong to a political party. But your role is not to be a doormat for any political side. It's to be treated with dignity. It is to be treated with respect. It is to have your human rights, your basic needs, like Maslow talks about.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs,
attended to by the administration, and they are failing to do it. They're failing to do it. But there is such a level of dis-ease in our national psyche that we prefer to sit down hungry. We prefer to sit down home and eat salt and rice than to come out and to say, I deserve better, and to demand better from a government who just finished eating a 5-course meal on my taxpayer dollar.
Yeah.
Something is wrong.
Yes.
Something is wrong.
So the overarching issue that we have today, as members of parliament heading into the sitting today, as of yesterday morning, the biggest issue was, we know what they're attempting to do to muzzle 8 MPs from having their voices heard and representing people at level of national level. But worse yet, now they come and they say, no, parliament is not the place for you to be asking for to derive strategies and methods and plans to deal with cost of living issues. Where else do you go with this? If parliament is not the place, where do you go with it?
Right. And this is where it breaks down, because I've noticed a number of people saying, oh, the opposition will go in there and they will demand a set of things that are impractical, and they can just end up being a circus. Yeah, but how do you know that? How do you know that? Did you take the time to read what the motion called for before you spewed nonsense? And this is where we as citizenry do ourselves a disservice when we do not seek to inform ourselves. Informed citizens make informed decisions, and they make informed comments, and they provide the constructive criticism. I cannot fathom for the life of me, how is it that we as a group of Black and brown people in this country are unable to rise above this nonsense and to build a proper nation.
Yeah, but
it's really, really sad that 50 years on, we are still here, that in 2022, in this enlightened age, that Guyana seems to be caught in this backward spiral of racism and political, immaturity.
How do you decide to protest for something for your benefit, but you don't want a certain section of people to see you protesting?
That is amazing to me. I couldn't understand.
How does that work? Like, how do you comprehend that? What is the message that you're sending altogether? What is the message?
I could not understand that. Do you want a better road or do you not?
Correct.
Do you not want sugar in the shops or do you not?
Do you not want better wages and salaries? Do you not want that? Or it depends on who asks for it.
Yeah, and and Pamela Fontenelle there makes a very important point that Guyanese, when they're outside of Guyana, are a different set of people. They're progressive.
When they reach the airport.
Listen, I travel often, and you literally see the difference in attitude.
They suddenly know that you're not supposed to throw garbage on the street.
When you land at JFK, we're each other's brothers. Oh, come fill out my farm, help me do this, and so on. Oh, girl, where you from, and so on and so forth. You land on Guyana, and those same people look at you. But you see, we don't want to talk about these things, because when you talk about these things, people say, oh, you're racist. Well, we at FYI, we really don't care. We will have the hard conversation.
We have to have the hard conversation.
And because if we're going to turn this thing around in our generation, we're going to have to decide, they're going to have to call us a lot of things.
Yeah. But I listened to, back to that little piece of audio that is circulating from Gail Teixeira. I listened to it and I said one thing. I said, when I'm going to the National Assembly today, I expect to see an unprecedented amount of security forces there, because that is what that sounds like she is setting up for. It sounds as though she wants to give reason for that action, and we know them so well. We've been dealing with them, as a young parliamentarian. This is my first stint in the National Assembly. I have been dealing with them since August of 2020.
And there's nothing new in their playbook. I mean, I just truly believe a set of plays that they recycle over and over again, who I don't care how much security they bring or whatever. The National Assembly is protected by privileges.
Correct.
And so, you operate within the parameters of those privileges. But Gail and her cabal must know that we're not really scared of them. I mean, they will look. There has to come a point in every man or woman's life where they decide whatever. You understand? I'm often reminded of the biblical story of Queen Esther. And she said, you know what, if I perish, but I'm going to see the king. If I sit here, I'm going to die anyway. If I go, I might die anyway. But there just might be a chance that in my going, I could change something.
Yeah.
And she took that chance. And that's the type of courage, that we really do need as Guyanese to say, you know what, to heck with it.
Yeah, the only true way to fail is to never try.
Is to never try. Like, how can I sit down and say to my child, well, we hungry. We gotta go out on the road in knee-deep mud. But is we government in government so suffer?
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
What is that?
That's what I tell you guys all the time. I say this. The PPP has perfected psychological warfare. It is you against them against you. If you agree with them, then you are in trouble. You have to be grateful. The pot boiling here is for them boys, but you pot coming, that hope.
Yes.
That is what they keep feeding to them. That sometimes you're going to get a little bit of benefit to it.
They peddle false hope, and the point
they peddle lies, blatant lies.
The point that you made last night is so true. Those people are moving $500,000 US a day, but you are going to be content with 25,000 Guyana dollars.
But you need to be
that could buy only 10 pounds of sugar if you could find it.
Correct. And last night I made a point, and to even expand on that point, is to say that you must want something better for yourselves. You must want to be afforded with the opportunity, the equitable access to not just resources in terms of salaries and wages, but you must have equitable access to business opportunity so that you can elevate your standard of living.
If I fail, it is because of lack of effort on my part.
Correct.
Not because a system is so set against me that I do not even have a chance going in the door. I don't even have a chance to get in the door.
Yeah.
And this is where we have to continue. Let me tell you, I know they call and they whisper MP. Oh, it's bad, but we can't say nothing.
Yeah.
MP a cash are frightened. This girl gets a little walk, and she providing for the family, and then a victimize her.
Yeah, that's what I say. Right? Bartica, I'm from Bartica. Agatash, right there, a village right there within the boundaries of the township of Bartica. The PPP administration went there late last year. They were sharing some hampers, and so when you said it, it made me remember. The residents there, they came to me and said, MP, look what's going on. These people give us spoiled things, and so spoiled food items.
I got a call from Region 9.
Spoiled food items.
I got a call from Region 9.
They're taking the
exactly
hinterland,
that.
right?
Yep.
But the underlying issue is then they're going to say, but we don't really want no problem. We don't really want to talk about it or so.
This is the point.
Oh my goodness.
I got a call as well from Region 9 MP. Look, flash a photo of weevil infested peas. And they sent a photo of the cans with the expiration date that expired a year ago. And this is the level of disrespect.
That's what they do.
But let me tell you, I believe that if the PPP continues to push Guyanese, they will come to a breaking point. And when the dam breaks,
when the herd moves,
it's going to be trouble, because what people are going to start venting is their years of pent-up anger, disappointment, and all of these things.
That is correct.
I know that in their hearts of hearts, people like Lakshmi Mahabir.
Oh, Lakshmi is an ardent follower.
Yes, Lakshmi
Thank
is
you
there
for being
every
here.
morning.
Yes.
But Lakshmi knows if she lives here, because a lot of them don't live here.
True.
A lot of them are in the US and so on, enjoying the liberties that affirmative action brings
I
them.
know Lachmi's story. Listen to Lachmi. Listen, I've never met Lachmi in my life, but let me tell you Lachmi's story. Lachmi was born into a household that told her, it's us against them, and them against us. You could never be for them, because if you're for them, you're against us.
Right.
Right?
And
So I know Lachmi's story.
People know, and everybody talks about it. But nobody talks about it loudly enough. That under the AP and AFC, life was different.
It was very different.
The air in Guyana was different. Was the government perfect? Absolutely not. Far from it. But people felt hope. The atmosphere was different. You go around Guyana now, it is a sense of fear, intimidation, just drudgery, just depression. And then what they do is that they sprinkle it with a little bit of entertainment to distract the masses long enough from their worries and their woes. You understand? We have to wise up. I am not saying that there's not a place for entertainment, but I'm saying be wise. Be wise. We cannot, as a nation, be thinking about what we wearing to dress to go to Juve and all of that, and there's no sugar in the shop. We gotta be a nation of priorities. We're gonna fet and party when we can feed we family. We're gonna fet and party when we can go afford our mortgage, when we can afford a piece of land as Guyanese. We will fet and party.
Lachmi is asking a very pertinent question. You know how I love to give responses to questions in the comment section. She's asking if we can provide any proof of all the lies, and I just don't want to point it.
Oh, you can't prove lies.
No. You know, if we can prove some of the lies that the PPP has been spreading. You know, one of the things, and we still have it there. You know, big on the polls right through the townships and so forth. There are these lovely billboards and so that says 50% increase for public servants.
And
you know, 50% increase.
And it hasn't happened.
Hasn't happened yet. Let's talk about sugar, right? Because it's a big one. This is a big one. They went and they said they're going to make sugar great again. They said that every single thing the coalition did concerning sugar was wrong, and they're going to go in there and they're going to make it great. Since they've went in there, what they have done is on the contrary to that. Since they went into there, what they have done, they have come to the National Assembly. They said, we are aiming to produce less every year. Lachmi, I know you don't understand this, but I hope that you can go and look at the budget speeches and so forth, look at the numbers, you'll understand better. But I'm happy that you joined the program, because it's hard for you to say that you didn't have the information when you have
and
it
she's
down.
asking why we ran away with the maize.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you what. The same reason that many moons ago, Teddy Jagan.
It was the PPP's.
They were
It was the PPP's.
Grabbed the maize.
MP from
Essequibo.
Oh my goodness!
That grabbed the maize and handed it to
Teddy.
But we will show you the photo, Lachmi, for the very same reason, and that reason is that when law and order breaks down, and you are the last line of defense for your people, you do what is necessary. We grabbed it for the same reason that Wane Jill refused to move and leave the parliament when the speaker asked him to.
The very reason why he said, I am here to I stand out of order.
Because he was willing to be out of order for the protection of his supporters.
Correct.
For the same reason.
For the very reason.
So we hope that we've answered your questions, and we will now, thank you for joining us. We really do love the fact that you're here every morning and that you're getting valid and credible information. That is the reason for FYI.
Correct.
But we have a lot happening this morning.
But continuing on the lies, very, very important. We were just talking about sugar altogether. And this is one of the things, the very first thing we have right now on the papers this morning is the fact that GMC to sell sugar to avoid price gouging, as they put it forward, But Amanda, I actually wanted to ask you about this because as the announcement came yesterday that was posted on none other than Air Finale's official page, it says that that the Guyana Marketing Corporation will be selling sugar at $1.50 a pound for package and $1.40 a pound for bulk. Beginning on Thursday, which is today, 21st of July, we will be selling sugar at price at this price at the following market locations. And one of the areas that I noticed that they listed was region 10, and it just said region 10 Linden. So I wanted to ask you, where specifically in region 10 Linden could we find Guyana Marketing Corporation site?
They have some operations there. How active they are, I don't know. But I want to point out how foolhardy this approach is.
Foolhardy alone, you saying?
Yes, I have to be civil. It's FYI.
I want to get to the
You
bulk.
are encouraging a run on GMC.
I want to speak about the bulk aspect of it. I mean, I cannot help but speaking about it from an economic standpoint. You do not say you are going to ease the woes of cost of living and so forth, and then you say that you're going to sell sugar at $150 per pound per package sugar, and then you are selling at $140 per for bulk sugar. What you are saying there is that you are allowing the private sector to sell the sugar to go and buy out the sugar on bulk and retail it back at a higher price because there is a shortage.
The people
I can't help it.
Sense.
Oh God!
And this is what we talk about. But people like Lakshmi will not stop and listen to reason. This is why, as we were pointing out last night, it is important to have a compact with the private sector that says, if you are going to do this, we expect that you will maintain the savings.
We know that the only attempt thus far we have seen for that is when none other than Irfan himself was begging the private sector to lower the prices,
but
in tune with all the benefits that he was giving to them.
Begging,
that's the only thing they do.
Is different. They're two different things. Look at what Mia Motley did. She signed an agreement with the private sector that says, look, you are going to pass on the savings to the people. You are bound by what you signed to. She didn't beg them, oh, yeah, look, see with the people.
Yeah.
That is what leadership does.
Correct.
They step in and they intervene to bring relief. But you see this sugar thing, there's more in the matter with this sugar thing.
But that is exactly it, because you don't get to go and tell people that there's no shortage, but then you come with intervention to address a shortage. How does that make sense?
You see, it doesn't make sense to you and I.
How should it make sense? How are you trying to make sense of this, right? And this is what is going on. You don't
disrespectful.
They're very disrespectful to the intelligence of Guyanese,
of the people of Guyana.
Right? If you actually want the price to be regulated, if you actually want the price of sugar, mind you, I have to add that the price of sugar last year was $70 per pound, right? So this big intervention to lower the price is lowering it to a price that is 100% more than it was last year. Okay, just take that, let that settle in for a bit. But if you actually want to lower the price, what you have to do is make sure that sugar is not short on the market. That is the only sure way of lowering the price.
Make sure that sugar is not short on the market, Jaretta, because this is where the house of lies that they have built comes crumbling down. The reality is, and you see, when no less a person than your own former president, Ramatar, says, look, says Narayan don't know what you're about.
They don't like him, you know. I heard something about 2 slaps sometime, but we're not going to get into that. Yes.
When you hear your own people say, look, this boy don't know what he's doing. But you know, they can't fire says. This is why they're unable to remove SACE. You remove the most qualified head of the EPA, but you can't move SACE, Narayan. Because you know what? There is collusion between them and SACE, Narayan. The last few cane crops were not good enough for milling. This is why they fell short on their targets, because they had waterlogged cane that they knew wasn't good. And what they allowed it to do was to be harvested and brought to the factories to keep their base employed to the detriment of all of Guyana, including their base.
But it's just not to keep the base employed, because they have been doing a lot of things when it comes to making sure that that section of society is dealt with however they want to. They could put proper measures in place to make sure that things are okay for people, and at the same time facing the fact of the direction where the industry is going, as the coalition did. They could face
Precisely.
it. They can deal with it. Oh my goodness. The
Precisely.
right sizing is something that Cameron Ramjadan speaks
Precisely.
about so consistently.
All the
Right
time.
sizing. They went in there. Listen, they have been doing piss poor job. I don't know any other way of saying it.
Look. They accuse the AP and UFC of closing estates.
Mm-hmm.
If let's suppose that they are right, we had sugar shortage.
Did we have
But
sugar
you
shortage?
are spending money
Mm-hmm.
to reopen shuttered estates.
You met sugar at last
$70
year. It was $70 a
pound.
pound. Come on, let's hear from you
understand?
guys now.
They do not tell their people that the highest
Mm-hmm.
yield of rice that has happened for the last couple of years in Ghana happened under
No,
the AP and UFC
not for the last couple of years.
administration.
The highest yield of life ever
Ever.
in our country happened.
Ever.
The two highest,
that-
not the high, the two highest
That is
ever
true.
recorded in the
That
history
is
of our
true.
country
That is true.
was under the AP and UFC
I'm going to take guidance
administration.
from you on the numbers
Mhm.
because what happened is that the AP and UAFC went in and put in systems in place that saw the millers
Mhm.
happy, that addressed some of the concerns
Mhm.
that they had. But no, we have now gone back to a point where everything is like these people are a curse on this nation, a blight,
They're corrupt.
a blight. And then when you make the points, they're sycophants.
Mhm.
For those of for who who don't understand what it means, go and Google it.
Mhm.
They're the people who blindly support. Was get personal.
Yeah.
Oh, we all they do.
Yeah.
We all they do. We could point to what we did.
Yeah.
Public servants had almost 100% increase in their
Correct.
salary. Rice was bumper. There was no sugar shortage.
Mhm.
Electricity supply had stabilized to an extent where blackouts, if you get blackouts, it was okay. Well, exactly what has happened. Now here you can count on blackout every day. The AP and AFC set about dealing with the felt needs of Guyanese.
Correct.
Buses for school children so that parents saved on transportation. Breakfast in schools, which you notice, as you said last night, Mia Motley is now asking for
That
the
it
schools
continue
to continue
during the
so
holiday.
that children could be fed. We have just withdrawn $40 billion from the consolidation fund, and you can't take $1 billion of that money to make sure that our school children continue to be fed throughout the holidays. And people, supporters that sit down of the PPP, that sit down and that spout these things must have no conscience and feelings, because they would prefer for children to go hungry and say, Priya Manik Chan, get your act together, than to say, Irfan Ali, stop talking about flights to Canada and to the US and sit down and feed your bloody people.
Oh, wow.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Because things are tight for our people right now.
And that's where we are there, but as we continue, we just mentioned what is going on in Panama, the fact that we're saying that it has been a massive ripple effect when it comes to people standing up and representing themselves, when it comes to persons saying enough is enough, and persons not just accepting whatever is dished out by administration, and we're following also what is going on there in Italy. Mario Draghi resigns, plunging Italy into political turmoil right about now. It has been some sort of chaos everywhere. It says Italy's prime minister looks on in this photo that we're looking at right now. It's going to come up at your end. Italy prime minister looks on and during his address to the lower house of parliament ahead of the vote of confidence for the government after he tendered his resignation last week in the wake of a mutiny by a coalition partner. Guys, it is happening. It is happening throughout the world right now.
Absolutely. 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 And should Guyanese stand up just for 1 minute, hold one head, you will see how fast Sue would stop getting all of the support, and the people of Guyana will actually begin to get that support.
Yeah.
You will see how quickly it would be. But because they know that they can count on continually dividing us, because they know that they can do the dog whistles about elections. And I don't care about elections. My sugar can empty. What are you doing to fill it?
Gas prices up.
I can't buy gas and kerosene. What are you doing to address that? Ashley Singh is monitoring the situation. When Ashley Singh goes home, he has his loud dinner waiting for him on taxpayers' money, and you're monitoring the situation. We have to get serious.
Yeah. And these are the points. These are the very points that they are evading answering at the level of the National Assembly by pulling off that motion off of the order paper.
Pulling that motion. But guys, there is so much going on. We are way longer than we had hoped to be, because we have to be in Parliament in 40 minutes. And so Chris Kippins, Thomas, Wesley Ward, thank you for joining us, Miss Simone Hooper and Leslyn Charles, Nikki Chalmers. You know, guys, thank you. There's just so much going on.
There's a lot.
But we have to go.
Yes, most definitely. We will have to try to see how much we can pack in during the podcast hour, and also during the course of in the ring segment. I know Sharon is going to be bringing a lot of information this evening for you guys. But make sure that you stay tuned. We have to run. It's absolutely necessary that we run. So today's program is a little bit shorter than usual, but you know that we're going to make it up for you. We are going to make it up. But guys, thank you so much for joining. Make sure you share the stream. Make sure that you joined the debates as it happened in the National Assembly today. Make sure that you pay keen attention. Make sure that the PPP administration never bring any success.
They will come to talk about the cheetah bangles.
Yes.
What's the people of Guyana punishing? Watch out and you will see. Exactly as we predict.
All right, guys.
Have a good one, guys. Stay safe. God bless.
176 monuments in a beautiful city hall. You know, with the wind in your hair,